they're doing to themselves and not you. It just feels like it's you because you've identified with the spirit of the devil as though it's you in thoughts and feelings. All thoughts, all feelings are lies all the time. But you got to work on yourself. And the last thing, and I understand it, I totally get it. So just suffer and die. But the last thing most people would do and want to do is work on themselves. They don't want you just to even say work on yourself. You can overcome. They love that insane world that's inside of them. They love their insanity. They love their anger. They love their blame. They love their victimhood. Isn't that something? They totally love it. And they would destroy you, try to destroy you if you even suggest that there is a better way. No such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, Allahu Abbaism, white supremacism, anti-Semitism, no isms. Zero. It's either wrong or it's right. And most people don't want to know that. Look how they fight to hold on to their illusions. They fight to hold on to their illusions, and they dare God or his son Jesus or the Holy Spirit or you or anyone to try to take that away from them. That false identity means everything to them, even though they're still scared and miserable, living in their imagination, thinking, trying to fix life by thinking through it, and it will never work. It's a spiritual battle, folks. So anyway, let the world betray you. It kills, it destroys all of your false ideas about yourself. You're not important. I'm not important. You're not important. Your little title don't mean a thing. It just builds your ego, but it has no good at all. Zero. Zero good. A little title is not going to make you happy. It's not going to bring you peace from within. A false peace temporarily, but it's not real. Isn't that amazing? What a spiritual battle. Get to know yourself, folks. Pay attention to you. Pay attention to you. Don't worry about anybody else. Let them say and do and think whatever they want. That's on them. You got to be, you should, I recommend you become an individual. Think for yourself. Work on you. No man, no woman, no child, no money, no place can repair you but the Spirit of the Father. It comes from within. Amazing. And that's why I'm even encouraging all people, but especially black people, let go of the whining. Let go of the blaming. Let go of the begging. Let go of the past that doesn't even exist and it never affected you anyway. You just heard about it. You heard about slavery. You heard about Jim Crow, and you didn't hear the truth about that. And now you're an adult, whining and begging and blaming as though you were affected by it. What the? How will you ever be free if you continue to live an illusion? If you continue to live an illusion, the illusion of thoughts, you got to stop thinking. If you want to be free, stop thinking. All thoughts, all lies, all the time. All thoughts are all lies all the time. All this emotion, all these feelings that you get are lies. It's not real. It's not you. Do what you want with that, but it's not you. The heart is wicked. Human beings are wicked. They are evil. There's no good in human beings. Look around you. You don't have to look far around you. Look at you and look at everybody around you. You'll see. That's why you must be born again. Salvation is of the heart. God searches the heart of man. Isn't that amazing when you really think about it? You've been taught wrong in your churches. I was taught wrong. You were taught wrong. And that's why nothing is working in your schools, in your homes. All you're doing is repeating the same old thing from generation to generation, only getting worse. It can change. It doesn't have to be that way. For those who want to change, seek the kingdom of heaven within. There is a kingdom of heaven within.
Go free. So it's a good movie. You know, it's good. Darius Harvey says, I think the believe all women narrative really hurt true abused victims. No one wants to stick their neck out anymore. I agree.
But how do we...
Christine Blasey Ford, right?
But how do we...
She lied about everything.
Okay.
I believe.
So how do we listen to some folks that maybe aren't, I don't know, credible, but, and then like you can't discredit all survivors just because, or individuals that step forward or accusers. You can't discredit everyone because of a few bad experiences. I mean, we've been saying the same raggedy...
There's no discredit.
I agree, but you can't be extreme. You can't also believe everyone at the same time.
Right. And I agree. And I
saying...
believe the survivors I serve, and I believe in due process. But you folks aren't advocates. If you folks were advocates, you would also believe the survivors you serve, and also explain.
Do you go into any of the situations with skepticism first? Like, do you have to say no to certain people when they come to you?
I don't know. I don't have room to be everyone's advocate.
Right.
Especially everyone that asks.
Right.
There are some cases that I'm probably better suited to serve.
Yeah.
For instance, this case, because I understand now what it's like to have my life destroyed by the corporate press,
right.
by the public, by the bot farm, that's attacking. I understand the left-right dynamic. That's why I'm well suited to be an advocate in this way.
Yeah.
In this case.
I'm worried because I find myself doing it all the time too. I lead with skepticism now with almost everything, which is an unhealthy place. I think transparency.
Okay,
the more people see evidence.
How much does a survivor have to give for people
to gain trust of people? I would say as much as possible, unfortunately, because people have so much skepticism.
If a dude came to me and said that some guy robbed him, help me, I'd say okay. I'd call the police and say I got a guy here who's been robbed. Am I going to believe 100% that he's telling the truth? It's like, no, but we'll pursue, the allegations because that's finding justice.
But why is the first gut instinct for people to go online and talk trash?
What do you mean?
Well, okay, not for every person, not normal people.
Depends on the way they're talking trash because there's trolls who just talk trash and there's other people who are also
but they troll everything.
They troll everything.
That's true.
That's true.
It's just, it makes it really difficult for survivors to step forward. And I'm always trying to think of how we can make that a little bit easier.
I don't know if you can. And
okay. Without infringing on free. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's just we protect the innocent, and protecting the innocent means. Let's talk about Mattress Girl. Remember Mattress Girl?
She walked around with the mattress on the college campus.
Yeah, and she was the abuser, and she got everything handed to her. Yep. Society abused the guy that she abused. The victim was beaten down by the machine. Right. So basically, the long story short... I
don't know that case, so I can't speak on it.
Woman walks around with a mattress around Columbia... was it Columbia, I think?
One of those.
Claiming that she was raped. It turns out she was begging the guy to be with her, and the guy didn't want to be with her, based on messages that got released in a lawsuit. The school threw him under the bus. His life was... I don't know if it was destroyed, but severely... He got kicked out of school, I think, and
expelled.
And then she got the cover of magazines. The machine propped her up and protected her, and she was the abuser. Christine Blasey Ford. Mm-hmm. She claimed that she was too scared to fly, and then they asked her in the hearing, like, didn't you fly like this point? She goes, yes. And didn't you fly here? Yes. And she goes, I'm so scared because 35 years ago I was assaulted. I have 2 doors on my house. And then it was like, that's because she's Airbnb-ing another portion of her house. Like, this woman went in front of the country and then you had, what was her name? Swetnick, where she claimed that Brett Kavanaugh was part of gang rape college parties where they would line up outside the door and with kidnapped women who were drugged. And so the issue is, you come out and you make an accusation. I say, we do our preliminary investigation, but we're not here. If Luke came to me and said Shane punched him in the face, it's like, well, why would I instantly believe something bad about Shane?
But Tim, people don't...
I wouldn't snitch.
People don't...
Take this outside we would handle together.
People don't believe I'm a survivor, and I've never said anything about whom... because I'm not legally able to...
Michael Tracy recently did a thread about this. Well,
that was, of course, I saw.
Yeah.
And I know why that was. I was really embarrassed for him because it wasn't factual. I wish he'd done a better job for him.
Well, here's the thing I would say for you in that regard is you've come out, talked about your experiences, advocated to help people, and you've not actually targeted another person. I think you've actually kept that private.
Because I'm not legally able to speak about it. That's why.
And there's a detriment there.
I've said that to multiple journalists, but it's kind of like, okay, but what I have done is I had the organization that saved my life on Twitter Spaces, speaking about what that process was like, saving my life, going through a play-by-play. But the organization now has come out and said that I've given a really decent timeline of everything that I did with that, the safe house that I went to. I talked about gave the name of the safe house that I went to. So the organization that saved my life was Eve's Angels in Chicago. They had multiple locations at the time. Annie D is on Twitter. And I went to, Refuge for Women in Kentucky. You don't go, that was the safe house that I went to. That was where they sent me. So why would you come out and say all that? And I understand skepticism, that's fine. But what you have to look at incentive. What would the incentive be for me to come out and say that I'm a survivor, take no money for any of it? I'm not selling anything.
Well, yeah,
but there's no
you can
incentive.
Make up a reason.
Okay,
like anyone could if they wanted to.
Sure. So let's say, like, hypothetically, it is made up. What's my biggest win so far in public? Getting Twitter to address child sexual abuse material and make it a top priority?
Well, that's why I'm saying.
Like, what?
We'll
so, like, where's the
doubt,
win? Where's the win there? Like, what's the big win, or what would the big gain be? I'm not asking an abuser for money. I'm not asking people for money. This
is why, when it comes to your story, it's like, oh, the only thing you're doing is getting Twitter to fix the problem, and so there's no conflict.
I'm advocating for survivors.
When it comes to Andrew Tate, it's people know his show and have seen things they like from him, and then there's people they never heard of accusing him of doing something wrong. So when it comes to choosing to believe or not believe, person A, I don't care if it's a man or woman, person A comes to me, person B comes to me, person A says person B does bad thing. I say, well, I don't know that, I've not seen it. You want me to immediately join in your accusation against person B. Now that's not easy to do. What we do for the legal system is we say, we heard you, let's do our preliminary inquiry to see if there's a preponderance of evidence. Upon discovery of one, we will then move for an investigation. Upon discovery of evidence, we will file for an indictment, and then we'll try to prove to a jury of our peers this person did the things they were accused of doing.
Sure, no one really said that about Maxwell. No one said that about the Epstein co-conspirators. I get what you're saying, because I agree with you.
What do you mean? Like with the Epstein stuff, we've gotten to the hard evidence over a decade phase, and people demanded accountability, and it went to indictment. And then Epstein died. And
what
then it went to
evidence have you seen in the Epstein case that you felt in your
photos
mind?
Of Andrew Tate with Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Giuffre, and then her saying yes because he did these things?
No, not Tate.
Oh, sorry.
I was my
Prince
brain.
Andrew.
My brain just fried.
It's too late, and we're getting the Andrews mixed up. I apologize.
Sorry.
There was a lot
Prince
of
Andrew.
There was a lot of testimony, especially how endowed Epstein was.
I gotta eat that one.
My brain was in the process of.
I was about to not to stop you. I was about to be like, let me play this out.
Prince Andrew with Virginia Giuffre and Maxwell, as well as flight logs with all of these people, and it's been 10 years, and there's been
the evidence was overwhelming.
If you feel like some evidence comes out, we'll do another conversation, and then we'll chop it up then.
Let's wait. Yeah, let's see that.
How about that?
Totally. Witness testimony is evidence, but not proof. And so that's why I said if Andrew Tate did these things, he should be held accountable. When it comes to Epstein, we're at the point where we wanted a legitimate investigation, but we knew the FBI was covering it up. We knew that, what was it, Luke? They had documents, they had folders and binders and video information and things like that were labeled, and they never released.
Photos, videos, all of that, cassette tapes, surveillance tapes.
I know it. And one of the
big
survivors
story.
Sarah is still trying to get the videos. Like, this is still in the process. Epstein isn't done yet, folks. I've said that once already tonight. The Epstein-Maxwell case is never done until it's done. It's not done.
411 is going down. And you know what else is going down? America. With the invasion, Sleepy Joe went to the border to facilitate that invasion. The traitor. Kevin McCarthy got that speakership. What a surprise, the rhino. But after some concessions in the House of Representatives, whatever that means. This is the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Monday. Everybody loves Mondays. January 9th, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour 2. Jesse Lee will be right back. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Here's the 411 on operators. Get it? Commie Nonsense Network CNN reports the advancement of smartphones and internet search engines has left human phone operators virtually extinct. And it was mostly white women, so they mean it in many ways. Still, millions of calls are placed annually to 411 or 0 to request directory assistance or operator help, according to the FCC, the stinking FCC, Federal Communications Commission. That could change this year, however, as more major phone carriers are taking the operator off the hook, whatever that means. I think that means that 411 is going out of service for millions. Or now they're offering, some of them, offering the service for a fee. Dang, Jews. Just kidding. We love the Jews. It's those Asians. Starting this month, AT&T customers, and I'll tell you what AT&T stands for, with digital landlines won't be able to dial 411 or 0 to reach an operator or get directory assistance. AT&T in 2021 ended operator services for wireless callers. Verizon, T-Mobile, and other major carriers are still offering these services for a fee. A century ago, the operator functioned as Google, which is evil. Google is evil. Everyone knew it as information. Call information. The human telephone operator was a job that came to be dominated by lovely single middle-class white women, also known as hello girls. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, that's the late 1800s and early 1900s, the first telephone exchange took place, reportedly, in New Haven, Connecticut. In 1878, 2 years after Alexander Graham Bell, who was black, by the way. Just kidding, he was Scottish, spent time in Canada like the Anchor Baby, another inventor, and American. Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone 2 years before the first phone call. 1876, I guess. I don't know. The operator was the essential link to the dominant Bell system after Alexander Graham Bell, owned by American Telephone and Telegraph, AT&T, Telecommunications Network. Isn't that nice? Invasion ongoing here in America. Commie Nonsense Network CNN reports President Sleazy Joe Biden visited the U.S.-Mexico border on Sunday amid record levels of border crossings Zerg invasion, but he did not appear to see or meet with migrants, including a trip to a migrant respite center, respite for rest. The visit to El Paso, Texas, marked Biden's first to the southern border since he took office and appeared largely focused on enforcement issues and speaking with border enforcement personnel. The president's flight was also met by Texas Governor Rhino Greg Abbott, a persistent critic of Sleepy Joe and his administration's federal response to the migration invasion, illegal invaders. The Republican governor confirmed to reporters he gave Biden a letter outlining what he described as chaos on the border. It's not just what he describes, it's what it is. Sleepy Joe Biden is scheduled to travel to Mexico today, where he will discuss migration invasion issues with the country's president, AMLO. That's Andrés Manuel López Obrador. I think he's the one who said hugs, not bullets. Abrazos, no balazos. Anyway, the Rhino speaker in name only, Kevin McCarthy, was elected House Speaker on Saturday, a major victory, according to Commie Nonsense Network, for the California Rhino Republican. He's from Bakersfield, I think. That elevates him to a powerful position, fake power, worldly power, leading the GOP majority in the so-called majority in the chamber, and an outcome that followed days of painstaking negotiations and failed votes. He made a series of concessions, not confessions, to hardline conservatives, so-called. I'm James Hake, now back to JLP, Hour 2.
Especially when it comes to the larger statistics, to strong family units, to a lot of success.
I'll tell you a personal story. I don't think I've told this anywhere, but when the Don't Tase Me Bro thing happened, my parents were counseling me, hey, don't get expelled from the university. Don't go. Like, I could have gone on every TV show in the world. And my parents wanted me to be low-key. Don't get expelled from the university. Don't go to trial with these bogus criminal trials. And I wanted to go on every show. I wanted to go on Bill O'Reilly and confront him for being such a war pig. I wanted to go on Jon Stewart and say, how dare you call me a douchebag? You're a sellout. I wanted to do all these things, but a voice came to me and was like, honor your mother and your father. They really did not want me to go high key with it. And if I did, I know I would have become an egotistical monster. I never would have become a more refined man. And so what you were saying about the value in actually believing in Torah, or like the Jewish tradition connecting to God, without that, I'd be lost. And I wasn't even someone that was so heavy believing in God. It's just something that occurred to me. So I just feel like if you look at world history, Christianity did so much good in the world. It wiped out human sacrifice and cannibalism off this continent. So if you have a nation totally disconnected from God, what does that look like?
Well, I'll tell you. We got this article from SF Gate. More U-Haul trucks left California than any other state in 2022. And do you know why? Because there is human excrement littering the streets in all of their major cities.
True.
I don't care if you're going to LA, SF, Sacramento, whatever.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Fresno.
It's Fresno. Oh, it's bad. Yeah. Have you heard about the poop department in San Francisco?
Yeah, they had an app called Snap Crap, where people would take a picture of the poop on the sidewalk.
Is that for real?
That's a real thing. Snap Crap.
So this is the point. My family will be mad at me. My community will be mad at me. But now, because everyone is this, I'm the only one that matters, you get bad cops. You get bad government. You get poop all over the streets. You get people saying, I could solve the problem, but I'd like to campaign off of it to get reelected, so I won't.
I see some problems with like honor thy mother and thy father, which is super important. That's part of the Torah. That's part of the Ten Commandments, is it not? And then what happens is people with bad parents or parents that aren't there, people that don't know their dads. Like this is kind of an endemic thing in our society. How do you honor someone that you hate, that wronged you, that set you in a path of emptiness? Like how do you honor someone like that?
That's why I always recommend people listen to Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson says, forgive your mother. Because so many people had mothers that didn't do right by them. I actually brought this book. I didn't even know I'd talk about this specifically, but this is the continuum concept. I brought this literally just because it says that mothers that don't constantly hold their babies, it's like the babies feel neglected and people grow out without a sense of love. And that's people that have mothers that are at least trying a little bit. People without parents at all, or your mother was abusive, so that's going to screw you up. Jesse Lee Peterson says, forgive your mother. It helps so many people like forgive their mother, return to their father, connect to God. So I love Jesse Lee Peterson for that. And since I brought him up, he's in a commercial. I said I'm a right-wing entrepreneur. I'm putting out this stuff, Alpha Jerky at BigClubUSA.com. And Jesse Lee Peterson, there's a hilarious commercial that we put out with Jesse Lee. It's on Patriot J's Twitter right now. Banned from Twitter, by the way, Patriot J. Elon Musk, restore Patriot J. Restore Patriot J today.
Yo, that jerky's legit, dude. It's
salt.
It's
good
the
stuff.
only preservative in it is salt. It's salt,
no
beef,
sugar,
and what? Water.
So this guy Andrew is like, I got something you might want to check out. I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, it's jerky, and I'm like, I look at it, no sugar, no garbage,
salt,
just beef, salt, pepper,
salt, ground pepper, and beef.
So this is what happens with good family values. You get the seed oils and the garbage out of your food. You don't buy a U-Haul to flee California. You move to Florida, or you live in Florida already. Richard L says, clearly the machine attacked Tate.
For what? For what would they be attacking him for? He's not saying anything that new.
Why was he banned from all these platforms?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that now, but further, you will understand later.
I mean, that's not good enough for me. You know
okay,
what I mean?
well, let's put it this way. Go read every platform's terms of service. Mm-hmm. You are not allowed to use Instagram or any other platform for human trafficking, child sexual abuse material, child sexual exploitation, or to facilitate any crime around those things. It's FOSTA SESTA, signed in 2018. All the platforms know this.
And he was
Twitter.
doing that.
I'm not saying he did that. I'm saying, do you think maybe there was another reason?
That he was doing it?
Do you think, has an ex-playmate come out and talked about her experience? Yes, she has. You can pull up the article of being contacted. So I'm just saying there might be more here that meets the eye. Why don't we chill on the attacked by the only people that truly get attacked by the machine are going to be like Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and folks like that are actually doing
They went after Jordan
thing.
Peterson.
And the machine?
Yeah, they called him a Nazi. They tried getting him fired. Now they're trying to put
the corporate press.
Yes.
Of course they did.
And and now his universities force him to go through re-education.
I understand, but there's a difference between
take away his medical
maybe
license.
I'm not understanding the machine because this isn't language that I use. Are you talking? So yes, people are attacked by the corporate press. I have also this month been attacked by the corporate press.
And now they're trying to take his medical license away from him.
Yes, they are. And I said something about that.
And what and why? For what reason are they doing these things?
Wrong-think. Orwellian stuff.
Is it not possible it's the same thing with Andrew Tate?
Sure, it could be.
So I'm not going to defend the machine until we can see clear evidence. So when we say, well, maybe he got banned because he was doing these awful things, I'm like, no.
Okay.
Until you come out and say, like, look at this message from Instagram, that's what got him banned. I'm going to be like, I could also come out and be like, he was facilitating illegal recipes. He was advocating for smuggling. I could make up a million reasons as to why he may have gotten banned.
And I understand that.
So,
and I don't mind skepticism. That's fine.
It's not even necessarily about skepticism. It's about like, yo, if this guy did it, please prove it to me so we can get him locked up.
Yes.
And if it's not the case, then
that's the right stance. I think that that's a correct stance. I think that that's good. I just, it's funny because I thought I would come here and talk about Elon Musk and Twitter the entire time. And literally we did not talk about it.
We did a little bit.
We did.
Yeah, we did for like 26 minutes, I think.
No, you're good. It's just
I have
funny
a timer.
'cause in my mind, I was like preparing the whole day for that. And now it's like Tate Fest.
Well, I mean, you led
with big news.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. You know, I never have this type of stuff planned fully and I just go with the flow.
Yeah, like the Epstein stuff, everybody thought was nonsense for a long time. And then
ever.
You had the Miami Herald, you had Mike Cernovich, and you had Project Veritas basically do this triple hit, and then all of a sudden it just damn broke.
Yes.
So my concern is when we've seen things like Blasey Ford, I should say Kavanaugh, and Mattress Girl, and a bunch of other stories. I mean, even Lena Dunham, didn't she accuse the DJ?
Yep.
She falsely accused the DJ.
And to individuals out
like,
there
for
that
what
have been
reason?
falsely accused, I want you to know I love you too. I think that that's heinous. I think it's horrible. I have men in my life that are close, dear friends that have been falsely accused. They have explained to me in great detail how it ruined their life. And I don't take that lightly either. Don't like either.
This one's critical. The Roz Rodriguez says, as much as I want to agree with, quote, awful guest, I am grateful Timcast brings in people that I don't 100% agree with or us watching. Good job. More, please.
I'm awful guest.
Could be.
Well, there's obviously...
Talking about shade, clearly. It's all shade.
There's big Tate fans who are, they're very, very critical. But then there's also people who are mad at me and they're very defensive and supportive of you. So it's split.
It's very split.
But I think it's a good conversation, whether it's for or against.
And Tim and I are cool. Just so everybody knows we're going to be cool. I've wanted to hug him 10 times throughout this.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, we got to have, like, for the people who disagree and are angry about it, like, we need to have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes, let's talk.
And we've got your super chats too. And like, we're having that conversation. So Angela McCardle says, Eliza, thank you for your advocacy work. It takes courage to come forward, and we desperately need more courageous people in today's culture.
I love Angela so much. She's brave.
I need to stop watching YouTube says, I don't believe Eliza.
That's okay. You and many people.
They're talking about Camus.
Philip R. says, I'm a little behind, but the reason men cannot help abuse survivors is plain and simple. Women victimized by men hate men after that and then usually go lesbian, no joke. I don't think that's true.
That's definitely not always true. That's definitely
not always true.
No.
Domasig says, after what they did to Kavanaugh, I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm less... with Kavanaugh, I was very skeptical. I mean, he's a family guy. He's religious. They had investigated him before. These accusations made no sense. With Andrew Tate, he's got video clips of him talking about bringing out women to do cam work, and you're like, okay, well, let's take a look into this. Let's see what this is all about. I don't know about detaining him for 30 days. It's like... they need to publicly release some evidence because this is a high-profile case. You know what I mean?
My only ask is not that you have to believe 100%. You don't have to believe 100%. Just don't tear down survivors until we can figure out what's going on. Well, maybe that's where I'm not communicating well. I'm not asking you to believe me, believe everything everyone says, but can we just not tear down survivors and make it more difficult for other survivors, you know, minors, survivors of Epstein? Like, just imagine how needed it was to get those people off the street and committing those crimes. Let's just not tear down survivors in the process, or accusers, if we don't like the word survivor, victim. Let's just not tear them down until we figure out what's going on.
If our goal is to protect the innocent, then we want to approach any accusation with like balance between the individuals involved. We don't want to insult the person making the accusation. We don't want to insult the person accused. We want to say, okay, I hear you. Let's figure this out and figure out who's actually at fault. Like who, or I should say not who's actually at fault, but is there a crime here? Is there a slight? And that's what the courts are for.
Yep.
All right. Will you call for the arrest of the accusers if they are found to be lying and also pay every cent you stole due to your actions? I think he's referring to the people who did. I don't know about you because you said you don't make money from it.
No.
But the people who, if they're found to be lying, should they pay restitution and should they be arrested? Like accusers.
I believe that if someone makes a false accusation of domestic violence, sexual assault,
trafficking,
anything like that, I do believe that then it falls on the yes.
True that.
Arrested, charged,
Yes.
all that stuff.
Yes.
Agreed.
And
All
pay restitution as well.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I've talked to people whose lives have also been destroyed. So I don't take false accusations lightly.
Right on.
Yeah.
This first story, we're not throwing it to a website. I'm going to throw it to Eliza. Apparently, you've got something to say.
Yes, I do. So before I say what I'm about to say, I just want to let everyone know that I serve these survivors, speaking here as their survivor advocate. And to anyone that needs more information, I will be giving information at the end of this. So if survivors need to step forward, and as always, anytime I'm on a show, just know that you can reach out to the Human Trafficking Hotline at any time. I can also give that number throughout this stream as well. So let's get it going. Tonight I might use the word allegedly at certain points. This has been advised by legal. Not because I don't believe the survivors that I serve, but it's the legal way to do it. So let's get it going. This is an official press release. These are not my words. This is a survivor. As a survivor of the Tate brothers, I understand how difficult it can be to come forward and speak out about what happened to you. But when social media gives us a glimpse into the extreme harm that others cause, I feel obligated to step forward and speak out against it. If these words can prevent one woman from being an alleged victim of Andrew and Tristan Tate, it justifies the risk that I'm taking. It can be scary, overwhelming, and you may feel like you don't have anyone to turn to. If you or someone you know is a survivor, know that you are not alone and that there is help available. By coming forward together, we may be able to find justice for ourselves and prevent these perpetrators from hurting anyone else. It is a brave and important step towards healing and finding closure. I know it can be hard to take this first step, but I promise you that there are resources and people ready and available to help you through this process. Don't let fear or shame keep you from speaking out. Let this be a reminder that you deserve to be heard, to feel safe and supported. You have the absolute right to seek justice. This is a moment and an opportunity for any victim of these alleged perpetrators to stand up, and together we can recognize vulnerability as power, see the strength in numbers, and shine light on strength of every single survivor. Signed, an anonymous survivor. The second statement. This will be Survivor 2. For women who have been victimized, we didn't know the game that was being played to hurt us. We didn't know a game was being played at all. It's only after it happens and you lose that you know, whether the lover boy method or some other way. Victims know that this game of deception is used in the court of public opinion today. To the people who've made assumptions about the victims before trial, I forgive you. I'm sorry. I won't ask those people to change their opinion for our sake. I would just ask them to consider one thing. What if you're wrong? Is it possible? And if it is, you can wait for the court to do its job before attacking. Those who have gone about the correct legal process for justice. To all the victims out there, I know how wounded you feel. I have felt that way too. I love each and every one of you for being brave enough to move forward despite those feelings. You are loved and know how strong you, and many know how strong you have been. Signed, Anonymous Survivor. So if you are a survivor of Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, or any co-conspirators in this case, I need you to visit the website ncose.com. ncose.com. You'll see a click through. It'll go straight to the legal team that's representing these two survivors. And I have a message of support from a survivor of Epstein Maxwell, Teresa J. Helm. My support, empathy, and immense respect to these courageous survivors braving through the storm and coming forward. Each of these women have the soul of a warrior and the heart of a lioness. To the women coming forward and speaking to you, you are changing the world and halting the vile systems of exploitation. Make no mistake, you are a hero. You speak for so many that have yet to breathe life into their words. You are taking your power back. You are returning it to where it has always belonged, within you. Justice is a journey, and I encourage you to use each footstep to imprint your fierce will. Fight back, demand accountability, drain the shame that was never yours. Whoo, that's cold. To the survivors that are currently developing your strength to take that first step of coming forward, we are suited up, and you have an army of warriors ready to lock arms with you, and that's true. Take the step, reach out. We are here to help you and build a foundation of your pathway to justice. They thought they'd bury you. Break free through the barrier of silence. Take your power back with love. Respect to each of you. God bless you, Teresa J. Helm. Teresa J. Helm is now working full-time at Nicosi, and Nicosi Law will be representing the survivors, the American survivors and Western survivors. So in the Andrew Tate case.
If this goes to a lawsuit, then it's a civil case where they can remain anonymous.
If they can't remain anonymous, and if it's a choice between life or death, then we will not have them step forward. If it's not, it's always up to the survivor.
Now you said you're not comfortable speaking about the evidence here. Can you say that you did see? Did you see any evidence yourself? If you can't tell us about this,
I'm not going to speak about.
And
that.
Are you confident, or from what your information that you're getting, is this a solid case from your experience working in this kind of particular field? Because I know there's still a lot of things up in the air. We still don't know a lot, but from your kind of understanding of how all this works, how do you see this case kind of?
I believe the survivors that I serve, and I'll leave that there.
So there's a few questions. The first thing I'll say is, I understand why people are skeptical. We've not actually seen any evidence from Romania other than accusations. And to be honest, even the statements that you have so far didn't actually assert anything. It's just people saying they were survivors and they're looking for more people to come forward.
Sure.
So I mean, that's the first step, I suppose. But for the time being, that's why the lawyers probably say allegedly, because we've not heard anything other than he convinced women to go and work for him